Welcome back to the next episode of the Ecom Growth Show. I am your host, Danon Coleman. This episode is sponsored by VideoFresh and Ecom Triage. I have with me Rob from VideoFresh. Rob, you are the founder, and why don't you tell us, what is VideoFresh? And I've got a lot of questions for you because I have a little bit of history myself in video.
Awesome. Yeah. Danon, thanks for the invite. Great to be here. Like you said, I'm the founder of VideoFresh. We partner with e-commerce and particularly Amazon sellers to help them increase their traffic and conversions and even elevate their brands and do all kinds of great stuff with videos. We've been doing it since 2016, so we've been at it for a while. And excited to I get to talk about my favorite stuff today, where I'm a big nerd. I get to whatever we want to talk about, I'm here for it. So
Yeah, well, we'll try to keep the technical details out a little bit, and which unfortunately I kind of have some questions on. But all right, so I'd like to go into, just to kind of kick this conversation off. I have a bit of history in video myself. So I have an adventure YouTube channel. Don't judge me for my edits. I just do smash cuts because I just don't care. But I also built and ran the Manage My Stats studio, where we did podcasts and training videos, recorded a course. I did all the editing for this stuff. And then that knowledge I took, like, I loved it. Like, I'm a big stickler for sound now. You've got to have good sound, proper lighting. Not that I have that because everything's flat lit on me, but so I feel like you can get a phone and take a video and it'd be like, cool, that's video. But you can take that same phone and with some lighting, put an enormous amount of mood into it and exude, for the lack of a better word, feelings of how this video feels. And then with that lighting and stuff like that, bring the attention to the areas on which you really want that person to look, right? And so I want to first ask you, and I've actually got 5 core questions I want to ask you about. This is just for Amazon pretty much, but how do you create that, what's the French word? Je ne sais quoi? I don't know.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. How do you create that? Because everyone's got a phone. Everyone can record in 4K 30, 4K 60 and slow it down by 50%. How do you create that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, you're asking about also, like, that's the thing about videos. There's so many different skill sets that all really play together. And so you're talking about, like, even just crafting lighting, right? Like, lighting is such an important way to draw the eye, like you said, where it's supposed to go. Just create an amazing, just also create eye candy, which draws in the viewer and makes them watch your video. And I gotta be honest, like, I'm not even the lighting expert, right? Like some of our people on our team, I mean, they went to film school. They are lighting geniuses, and I'm in awe of how they craft the lighting for our videos and stuff like that. But like you said, even just getting some good 3-point lighting going on, you can really shape the light and everything. But there's so many different videos. There's so many different types of videos that your brand needs, right? So like some of your videos, do need to be brand elevating in the sense that this is content talking about the brand. This is stuff that's maybe on DSP or streaming TV or top of funnel content that's really, you're putting your best foot forward as a brand, right? And that, in some sense, the quality of your content reflects the quality of your brand and the quality of your products. So that'd be like for top of funnel stuff. So that's the stuff where you want to be the highest production value. But then you've got stuff all the way down from, like, okay, direct response ads, like sponsor brands video ads, extremely important, extremely effective. That needs to be a certain type of quality, but it doesn't need to be quality in the way that, like, a top of funnel brand might need to be. Then you have like UGC content, right? So you just have this huge ecosystem of content that your brand needs throughout that funnel. And so every one of those has kind of its own best practices, its own language, its own expectations from the customer. So the role that lighting plays in that, the role that creative plays, we could talk about each of those individually and kind of dive into that. But like you're saying, what I love about video, just to talk about why video is great, like you're saying, it's a visual experience. It's an audio experience as well, which I think is one of the most overlooked strengths of video is audio in videos
Correct.
and the role that that plays. To this day, since I've been doing this, kind of all I've ever done professionally, to be honest with you, is video content, and now kind of running a video company. But like, when I was in high school, I was making videos, making my friends make videos with me. I've kind of done it all over the years a little bit. Got to make a feature film when I was younger. They got distribution, all this cool stuff. But throughout all of that, video is still the number one channel, the number one medium to convey
Mhm.
emotion, to have someone watch a piece of content and have something stick with them consciously, subconsciously. So it remains the most powerful medium to earn mind share and have an impact on your customer. You got VR, you've got these other things. They're not in everyone's pocket, right? The video is in everyone's pocket. Everyone's got a little rectangle in their pocket. And it's just that I remain so passionate about what that can do and how you can meet your goals by having the right content. Um, so yeah, I love, and of course, like the craft of it, like you're saying, is where so much of the magic happens. But as I think we'll talk about, I think the most important part of a video is actually the anatomy of it. And it's actually the words you choose to have on screen, the types of shots you're capturing, what is the opening shot for this platform and that platform. And it becomes very tactical, I think. And that's how we approach video, is much more of a tactical move than even just how it makes you feel, but also like, the way that you hit them at the right information in the right order absolutely has an effect on click-throughs and conversions.
Yeah, makes sense. That's why, just kind of thinking back to what I have seen and what I look for as a consumer is I want to know the features, right? So first of all, I want to know if I figured out what product is going to solve my problem. Okay, good. What's out there and what are the features of that? Then I will often go to an unboxing video. What do I get with this thing? And then I go to, what can I do with this thing? How is this thing going to solve my problem? And so as a consumer, I think pretty much everyone goes that way. It's like, I have a problem. Good. What solves this problem? Awesome. I found the thing that solved this problem. What's available on the market? Cool. What can that thing do? And which one is the best in the price range that I can afford? Awesome. What comes with it? Great. What goes then? And so often on Amazon accounts, all I see is an unboxing, no features. And it's or even worse, and probably even more, is the video on Amazon on the product details page is the product on a $5 spinning automatic lazy Susan. And it's like it's got some cheap music and some text overlay. I really hate those videos because those are sales videos. They don't tell me how they're going to solve my problem, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
totally. Yeah, I love that. And I think the unboxing, I also think different products benefit from different kinds of videos in the right
Sure.
order, right? So it's like, what does your customer need to understand from hitting them with a tippy top of funnel ad that kind of just raises awareness about the existence of the product, right? Raising brand awareness, but then moving them down the funnel. It's like you have to think about the journey. So one of the things we like to, I haven't brought this up in a while, but something that I think is a really interesting thought exercise is thinking about like a spectrum, and I call it like the product utility spectrum. Like
Yeah.
on what, because it occurred to us a while ago that the shopping journey is super different for a low utility product to a high utility product. So a low utility product would be something on my desk at my other office. I have this plastic really cool plastic bonsai tree. It's like this fake bonsai tree that sits on my desk. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there. It looks awesome, but it's like it's not. How many features and benefits are there, right? It sits on the desk. It looks cool. That's why I spent $70 on it or whatever. Then you
70
have
bucks.
it was expensive. It's you got to see this thing. It's really
It's a
nice.
really good bonsai tree.
It's enough. Yeah. No, but then on the other side of the spectrum, you have a 32-piece socket wrench set or something, right? Nothing but utility. So what's the difference of these two things? Well, a high utility product tends to be a need product. A low utility product tends to be a want product, right? Something more decorative, something more maybe this is a piece of jewelry that's low utility, right? A bonsai tree, uh, fuzzy dice that hang over your car mirror, right?
They still
So
sell those, huh?
they still sell those. Shout out to Liz Downing. She'll know that's an inside joke. That goes back a few years. So these products that are low utility, what does that journey need to do? Well, really, that journey for the customer needs to spark a desire for the product, and a desire it just needs to pull the right emotional strings, because you buy low utility products for emotional reasons. You buy high utility products because you have a problem that needs a solution. So that's just one interesting thought exercise to think about your products. And, like, by the way, a lot of products fall in the middle. So a good example would be like a guitar or something. A guitar is both, there's a utility dimension to a guitar, how it sounds, how it plays. And then there's like an aesthetic dimension. This is also a decorative, sort of luxury item that you want to show off. I mean, so these are like interesting. Like, if you look at a lot of products, another good example would be a rain jacket is kind of in the middle, because you have a fashion element, you have a desire to just like, I just want to look cool, right?
Sure.
And then the other side of it is like, is it waterproof? Is it going to like keep me warm enough, right? So I think that when you kind of parse those things out, you realize that videos are a great way to spark the emotional desire, pull the right emotional strings, the right emotional notes, and also really communicate features and benefits in a clear way. So to your point, unboxing. So to me, when an unboxing video is most important is when you are buying a product where it might not be 100% clear what is in the box. So for example,
Right.
if I'm buying a digital photo camera or something like that, oh cool, it comes with a strap. Oh cool, it comes with a memory card case. Oh cool. It's like where that might be, is that a question in your customers' minds? What's actually in this box, right? And there's other good reasons for an unboxing video. Like, unboxing is an experience in itself. And sometimes that experience is really cool to capture in a video. Like, I do love a product. I just bought X-Clad pans. Have you heard of those? Like those like these high-end
Yes.
pans. They're really
They're
cool.
what's his name's pans?
I think Gordon
Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
Ramsay, is that his name? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay's
I'm
pans. And
I think I yeah, the guy the company that manages his Amazon, I'm part of his group, actually.
oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, they do a great job. I felt as when I bought that product, or like the set or whatever, I felt like it was absolutely like an experience unboxing those, because they have these booklet. You open it up and everything's the way it's all wrapped up in like kind of the soft fabric, and then there's like booklets and there's things, and there's like an ad there. You like scan a QR code and it like onboards you to like, this is not no normal pan. Here's how
Right.
to take care of your pans. And I felt like onboarded to my pans in a really
Yeah.
cool way through
Yep.
the unboxing process, and then through that. So like through and video content actually played a role in that. With the QR code. So the point there is like, I think so for that, an unboxing video would be great, because there is an unboxing experience to be had there that a customer may love to see. So that is a really long-winded way of saying, I think that not every product needs benefits from every kind of video equally, right?
Makes
I
sense?
think that like, what we like to do is really step in the customer's shoes and say, and you don't want to you also don't want to overshare. You don't want to give them too much information before they're up. Yeah.
Because you're gonna convince them not to get your product.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes too much is
Yep.
more risky.
Yeah, yep.
And also, because like it's also a matter of, with a DSP video at the top, for example, they're not searching for anything. They're just sitting back watching whatever they're watching when that ad comes up. Therefore, you just want to tease them with a little bit of information about your product and invite them to click through. Once they are typing in a keyword and a sponsor brand's video comes up, for example, they are actively searching. They want to know that where's the product that I'm looking for. So that what that video should really do is just like appeal to that search intent. And then by the time they click through the listing page, they are saying, I want to learn all about it. So give them all the information. But just these simple principles, I've noticed that most Amazon sellers, and if you're selling on Amazon, most of your competitors are not thinking about their content this way. So if you can think about it this way, you're just going to have like more
That's really interesting because as you're explaining all of this, I realized a critical error that I made in the video that I did for my camping blanket. Now, I actually sent you the link while you were explaining this because didn't want to forget to do this. But the thing is, so that video is about a minute long, and what it is it ended up being my outtakes, and that's what I decided to actually make my product video because it it attached me, the human being, to the brand, and therefore people were buying from me, not from the company, right? And so that's what I was going for with the video, but then I realized, well, I didn't actually tell them anything about what it does,
All right.
but or the features or anything. Now, um, I ended up not pursuing this product any further, and I've just eliminated my inventory. But I just realized that I could have taken another 20 seconds and just had the whole kit and caboodle right there. But that's all super valuable. I want to get into the questions I want to ask you because I want to
Yeah, yeah.
deliver these super nuggets to Amazon sellers. So here's question number one. What makes an effective sponsored brands video ad on Amazon?
Yeah, one of my favorite questions. Okay, so all that a sponsored brands video ad needs to do is appeal to the search. It has to demonstrate to the person searching that they have found the thing that they are looking for. So, especially when it comes to long tail details. And so, the way that we like to go about sponsor brands video ads, and I've been kind of saying this for years on different things, and we have great case studies to support that this is a highly effective way to do this, is rather than just creating one video for one product and running that against every keyword you have, oftentimes, you can look at your keyword list and say, wow, a lot of my customers are searching for this specific attribute of my product. So, for a good example, would be if you sell a rain jacket, waterproof rain jacket, or a rain jacket with side pockets, or whatever, rain jacket with hood, right? So, what you can do is you can take all your keywords and you can sort them by impression, right? So, you can sort them by what keywords have the most impressions, what keywords have the most people searching this particular thing. What you can do, and I've written like a custom GPT that does this for us. You can
I was going to
analyze.
say, okay, for you guys, great.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll show you the link. Maybe I thought I should make that public. That'd be kind of cool. But basically, analyze those, and what it does is it says, oh, ranked by number of impressions, here are the biggest categories of long tail search intent. So, hey, 15% of keywords have this long tail detail about being waterproof. 10% have it about this. Da, da, da. Then what you're doing. So if you think about this for a sec, and it sounds super obvious, but it's interesting when you point it out. Like when someone is literally going and typing in um waterproof, I don't know, something like that. And then if what comes up is just a bunch of photos of jackets and none of them are shouting waterproof, what they're doing is they're just scrolling through the search results to be like, which one is waterproof?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing when they search.
And if that were me, I would be looking for waterproof in the title. That's what I'd be searching for because
Looking for
or
waterproof in the title,
an image of water
like
hitting and
water,
bouncing off.
totally. And sometimes, and I can give some other examples of this. Sometimes, yeah, if they have waterproof in the title or something like that. Um, so in that case, a sponsored brands video ad where the opening shot is just showing the texture of the thing and just water like
Yeah.
bouncing right off of it,
Yeah.
that's going to be the loudest visual response to like what you're searching for. So that is going to be like the search result that jumps for that customer typing in that thing. That's going to be the validating thing for them that they're going to go, nice, I'm clicking on that. There's other examples of this where it's very difficult for a listing page photo or even the description to validate some of these things where a video can do. So the question you want to ask is like, what attributes of my product that my customers are searching for can the video ad demonstrate relevance to better than all these competing images and little descriptions? And what you find is there's so much of the time there's so many opportunities to do that. Another great example is we had a customer that sold heating pads and cooling pads and heating pads, and we analyzed their keywords and we found, oh, wow, a lot of people are looking for heating pad for my shoulder, right? Heating pad for my wrist, heating pad for my neck, heating pad for my back. And so none of the search results were none of the competitor search results were appealing to any of those categories. And yet that's how people are searching for these heating pads. So we made one for each product. We made a version for each body part, and we just saw a big improvement in their
Makes
click-throughs and their
sense.
ROAS. And so
Makes sense.
the other thing I would say about a sponsored brands video ad best practices, don't make it long and don't tell them everything there is to say about the product. What our
Wait,
tests have shown. Yeah, go for it.
how long is long? In video, it's short. Short is long. Shorter
Short
is
is long.
short.
10, don't be afraid of a 10-second looping sponsored brands video ad.
Okay.
That's short.
Okay.
10 to 15.
Okay.
So I would say
Don't make it a minute 20.
don't make it, well, and the max length I think is 45. Don't get anywhere close to 40. Stay away from that end of it, right? What we've found is a really interesting formula is short, punchy, hit them with opening shot should be a bullseye
That's the
with the
hook.
search, with the hook. It should be a bullseye with the search term category that you know you're pairing that up with. If it's the jacket and this waterproof jacket, we're splashing and it's like waterproof. Just that's it. Simple stuff. Then the next 7 seconds of the video should hit them with maybe three. I would say like 2 or something, like features and benefits. Big, strong visuals. You see what the product is, you get a sense of it, and then it loops back to the beginning. And that little loop is really effective because for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is not giving them, it's more again with the DSP thing too. It's like kind of inviting them, hey, click through to the listing and we're going to tell you all about this jacket. We are clearly not telling you everything about this jacket.
Right.
We're inviting you, right?
Yeah. So, okay, to recap here, what makes an effective sponsor brand video is that you need to cover only 2 or 3 features have the video that is displayed targeted to the long tail keyword and have different variations of that for your top searched terms, right? And keep it below 15 seconds. And in that 15-second video, we're going to cover the main for the search term and then maybe two, maybe 3 other features and benefits. Does that sound right?
Perfect.
Okay.
That's exactly what we recommend as a default, right? I mean, I guess you could always find exceptions to anything, but as a default, that formula consistently we see really strong performance. And then what you're doing, and you can almost think of that video as like a teaser trailer for the full length listing page video. So that video, and I know you're not asking me about listing pages yet.
No,
so
that's my next question.
That's your next question.
So,
okay.
Yeah, the next question is what makes an effective PDP video? PDP is product display page, by the way, for those of you that are new.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah. So that video, now they've clicked the teaser trailer, right? Now they're on the listing page. And right at the top, you have your like 6 or so images, and then you have that option for that 7th square to be the video. You click on that.
And I always go there first. If there's a video, I bypass everything.
I do too.
I click the video.
I do too. I think a lot of people do. And I think a lot of sellers wonder if people watch those videos so much. I personally do, especially when it's a product where I have questions.
Yep.
In that video, here's the cool part about that video. People go, oh no, we don't want to bore the audience. The cool thing about that video is it really doesn't matter how long it is, that video should answer every single question that you could possibly wonder about that product because they are opting in. They're ready they're like, hit me with every feature benefit, answer my questions. And because the question you have to ask too, so here's the interesting question, right? They clicked on the ad. Why aren't they going right to the buy box? What stands in between that action of I'm on the listing page, I think this is the product for me? What is standing between, and they already saw the price. I mean, like, why aren't they just going to the buy box?
Yeah. So they've gone from a cold lead to a lead because now they're seeing it. They click on it. Now they're a hot lead, but they're not closed. So that video has to close them.
They're like bottom funnel. They're right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what can the listing page video do to go, yep, that's great, buy box? Like that's going to be something different for every product, but it probably is something informational. It's probably a fact or feature that they want to validate.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm looking for as a consumer. What I think, granted, you have the experience, I just have the theory here. So I think what that video needs to do is handle every shred of data that is on your product display page in the video. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay, good. That's when we use swords. Now a picture is worth 1,000 words. So now we're no longer writing shit. We're taking pictures of shit. Okay, but a product video, a video is worth a whole book,
Yep. Yep.
right? Because in a video, if you mixed if you mix some tech or even sound effects, right? Even
Yep.
sound effects have a heavy impact. But you can take video, voiceover, and text, and you can handle everything that you've written in your description and your bullet points in 30 seconds or less if you did a good
Yes.
job. And look, I'm garbage at storytelling. You'd think I'd be good at it by now. I am not. I am not good at it at all, which is why when I film my adventures, I just get the camera. I'm like, all right, and so there's a tree there, and but that video, I don't want to spend the time reading the title, the bullet points, the A+ content, the description. I don't want to spend that time. Put it in the video for me.
Yes,
Answer everything.
absolutely. Right. A video is like you said. I'm the same as you. Like I prefer if there is a video. I'm like because videos are passive, right? You don't have to like reading is very active, and scrolling through photos is very active. A video with the audio and the movement, everything, you get to sit back and just have the information just kind of spoon fed to you in a really enjoyable way. And I think that's why videos are so different than every other kind of content, right? And I think to your point, I completely agree. Every fact and figure in detail that's in your listing page about the product, like if it's something that it has a battery, how long is the battery life? Like how big is it? What size, what size, what compatibility is it? If it's got a plug, what is the plug compatible with? And anything like that, that's really what your listing page video is there to do, is it's there to tell them every last detail and hopefully be a catch-all for each individual customer and for them, whatever the thing is that's standing between them and the buy box, that video is gonna clear that up and they're gonna
Yeah,
go, awesome, that's what I'm looking for.
I agree, man. I agree. And I think that these days, anything that's not covered in that video, they're going to go straight to Rufus. They're not going to go looking for it in the content. They're just going to ask Rufus, does this have this? If Rufus says,
Yes.
yes, it does, boom, done, purchased.
Totally. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, Rufus is definitely a really significant tool that shoppers are going to go to. Yeah. So, and some of your shoppers are going to go to Rufus. Some of them are going to look at your premium A plus content. Some of them are going to go to reviews, right? A lot of times, someone's going to go straight down to reviews and go, and validate. Like if you're buying like a mattress, right? If I'm buying a mattress, I don't really care if the listing page says that it's comfortable. I
Yeah.
care if the reviewers say that it's comfortable. So like, I think that like these are all part of it, but I think that like you need that listing page video there for you're going to have a significant, no matter what you sell, you're going to have a significant portion of shoppers like us, right? That go kind of jump right to there. So I think it's kind of like giving everybody what, how they prefer to shop. And I think that Amazon also has, as far as listing page videos, Amazon certainly has their statistics that say that having a listing page video at the top increases conversions by 9.7%. To me, that's like a really significant number. I was a little skeptical of that number at first, but we certainly see those kinds of results with our customers.
And let's not forget that the number of crap videos out there far outweigh the number of good videos that actually answer people's questions. So that means that if you've got a great video where you do answer those customer questions, you've got good sound and stuff like that. And because people can forgive bad audio quality, bad video quality, but they cannot forgive bad audio quality. So
Completely agree. That's a
yeah,
great point.
yeah. So your camera does 4K and all that stuff. That's totally fine. But if your camera only does 720p, but you have good audio with it, people will forgive the graininess of the video, right?
Absolutely. Audio is much more, and there's a caveat with audio, which is in all likelihood, people will not watch your sponsored brands ads with audio, which is actually something I should have brought up with the sponsored brands video ads. They probably will
Sure.
not watch with audio. They probably will watch your listing page with audio.
Correct.
They may watch your DSP with audio, right? So every one of these touch points has a different
Yeah.
probability that audio is going to be on.
And sponsored brand videos, they're automatically muted. Whereas if you
Yes.
click to see the video on the PDP page, that the audio is engaged on that.
Yes.
So the
That's
audio
it.
really
That's right.
matters there. Yeah.
I love
Okay,
that.
cool.
Yeah.
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 Go ahead.
Yeah. Really important. Yeah. So I think yeah, I guess that's probably all with those ones. Obviously I could go into way more detail, but I know we have like more
I know.
questions. So
Yeah, I'm going to have to skip one or two questions here. Okay.
yeah.
Let's see here. I think we've covered the types of videos just fine. How can performance data be used to improve the effectiveness of videos over time?
I like this.
This
Okay.
one's
Yeah.
this
So
is deep. Give
yeah,
us a
this is
short answer first, actually, like
yeah.
an overview.
An overview. Okay, so take a sponsor brands video ad, for example, but this goes for everything. There are some really cool stats that you're going to have with whatever your videos are. So like sponsor brands video ad, you can see, and I think you might have to run a certain volume of ads before you get all this data. It depends. But what Amazon ads can give you is like 5-second view rate. Like what percent of people finished 5 seconds? What percent of people finished 50% of the video? What percent of people finished all of it?
Yeah,
So
YouTube does this where it's the drop.
yeah,
There's a graph on the drop off of viewers. Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
So Amazon will give you that information in just in your Amazon ads, dashboard. And that information is great because you can literally see, oh, wow, like, people are making it to 50% and then they're dropping off. So then what you can do is you can go back to your video and say, okay,
Cut out
what's
half.
becoming, yeah, right. Cut it in half. Yeah. It's also, if you make a shorter video, the likelihood that they're going to make it to the end is way higher. And when they make it to the end and see a couple of those loops, that's, in my mind, that's a big win because it's like they made it to the end of the content. And so they have engaged completely with that content that you've given them. But I would also say another interesting one is if you have, guess what? So speaking about sponsored brands video ads, it shows you how many viewable impressions if you've seen that. So a viewable impression, a lot of people don't know this. I discovered this a few years ago. I thought it was really fascinating. Where a viewable impression was the video on the viewers literally what it is was more than 50% of the video visible on the viewer's screen for more than 2 seconds. If
Two
yes,
seconds.
that's a viewable
That's an
impression.
impression.
Which is interesting. Yeah. So then you go, okay, if you have a high impression rate but a low
Yeah.
view through rate, that
Yeah.
could tell you something. So if you're getting a
You're
ton
not
of
hooking them.
impressions, you're not hooking them. So what they're doing is they're seeing it and they're going, nah,
Yeah.
you're not even getting them for 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
that tells you maybe your hook is not so great.
Yes.
So that's interesting. It also could tell you that they never made it down to the video in the first place, right? So it doesn't always mean that, but it could indicate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that is interesting is what if you have a high click-through rate, but a low conversion rate? So that's an interesting case that came up with a client one time where like you have a really high click-through rate and you're not converting. What that means,
So the video was doing its job,
yes,
but
it
then
was doing its job
What
and
wasn't doing?
something. So one diagnosis for that is perhaps something about the video is setting an expectation that they like,
Yes.
and then the page is showing them that actually it's not the case with the
Yeah.
product or something like
Yeah.
that. They're clicking on some pretense that they really like about the video, and it's something about it is kind of misleading. And by the time they get to the buy box, they're like, oh, this isn't quite what I was looking for after all, right? And
I
now
can
you're
think of
paying a
a
lot of money for
perfect,
that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I can think of a perfect example of this. You've got a great video and absolute crap photography.
Interesting.
So I see this beautiful video with great lighting and it shows what I want to see. And I go over to this thing and it's a cell phone shot, like an old Samsung Galaxy 12 inside of a light box, only you can see that it's in a light box. And so the lighting on that is so flat, you don't get that detail. Like I've seen this before. I've seen a video, clicked on it, gone to the page and been like, yeah, that's not that's not this. Somebody did a good job with digitally rendering this product, but I can see this product is absolute junk.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's super true. And like it could even be something as simple as, so like you're saying, it could be like they get to the page and they go, oh, the quality isn't like what I thought. Another example is they love what they're seeing in the ad, but then they get to it and they realize, oh, this isn't compatible with what I need, or this isn't the right size or something like
Sure.
that.
Sure.
So those are some interesting things that where the different data cases that can tell you how to go back and change the anatomy of your video or test different things. I think there's a couple other cases, but those are kind of I think the more interesting ones that people may not have thought
Yeah.
of.
That makes sense. I mean, one thing I've been telling sellers for years is that PPC advertising in general is not your only solution. That is
Yep.
doesn't make sales, that drives traffic. Your
Yes.
PDP, that's what makes the sales. And your hero image is their hook once they get to their page, right? And from there, it's going to go, they'll be scrolling through results. And I realize we're talking about video, but let's just put the video on the side for right
Absolutely.
now. They're going to be scrolling through, something catches their attention. There's an eye stopper right there, a scroll stopper right there. Then they're going to click. Now they're going to start looking for the details that solve their specific needs, right? If they don't find that within like 7 seconds, they're gone. They're on to the next thing, right? And so the video is going to be essentially doing the same thing. The video is going to catch them and go, hey, that looks like what I'm searching for. Click, and then it goes to the page. And so the moral of this story here is that you can drive as much traffic as you want, and Amazon's going to be happy to spend your money doing it and put it in their bank account. But if you have a crap product details page, it's not going to convert, and that is your foundation on which your entire Amazon life needs to be built upon. And you need to be doing not just a good job, but a damn good job, because if you want to beat out your competition, if you want your conversion rate to be higher, you need to do a damn good job with it. And that's great photography, that's great videography, and that's whatever else, your grade A plus content. But it needs to, I think, and Rob, you keep saying this and alluding to this, but you need to know your customer journey, and you need to know where your customer is when they get to a certain point, so that you can poke those buttons. And so they go, well, yeah, I'll open this door. Okay, I'll open this door. I'll open this door. I'll add to cart. I'll hit buy, and each one of those is a different stage. That's why they call it a funnel. You got top funnel, you got bottom funnel, but the funnel is not just, hey, they're in the top, whoop, they go straight down to the bottom. They are stages. And in each stage, you need to provide them with the information, and just enough information to get them to the next stage, and then it elicits a sale. So I kind of went on a rant there
That's
a little
so
bit.
true. No, no, no. I just want to let you cook on that because that was great. Yeah, I completely agree. Well, because it's like, yeah, like I love what you said there too. It's like every little video is, you just have to think, oh, all this video has to do is get them from this dot to this dot, and then from this
Yeah.
dot to this dot. And when you
Yep.
think about that, you can think a lot more clearly about your content, a lot more clearly about your listing pages, your images, your videos. And the other thing that you said was great too is yeah, of all the kind of mistakes that we talked about, yeah, the most expensive one is when you have a really effective sponsored brands video ad and a really ineffective listing page, because then you're going
Yeah.
to pay for those clicks, right?
Yep.
Like you're going to wait. So it's like you're going to pay for clicks that don't convert, right? So absolutely, that every little, I kind of think about like I always have this visual in my head of like ping pong paddles that are all, oh, you ever seen those like trick shot videos where you throw a ping pong
Yeah.
ball and it goes bum 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 and it
Boom,
bounces
boom,
on
boom.
the pans. Yeah, that's how I think about like the funnel. Like it's like, where's
Hmm.
the ping pong ball bouncing off in the wrong way
Yeah.
direction? So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. I got our DSP rocks. Boing. Oh, like sponsor. Oh, our keywords are right. And the sponsor brand video is good. Boing. And then, they get the listing page, boing, and it bounces off. Or, you
I
know,
want to see a video depicting that, Rob.
hey, let's do it. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah. And the other one is, or here's another interesting one. By the way, if you have a supplement brand or something like that, where there's high lifetime value repeat purchases, the the cup at the end for the ping pong ball is
Yeah.
not the first purchase.
No.
It's the subscription.
Repeat.
It's the repeat. So that first purchase is still another bounce. that the cup is like, did they get the product? Did they love the product? Did they come back and subscribe or whatever?
Yep.
So I
And
think
I
that
sell supplements, by
yeah,
the way. And I
there you
have
go. Yeah,
something, yeah, I have something like, I can't remember, it's one or the other. I hope it's 60, but I've got either a 40% repeat buyer or 60% repeat buyer. And I can't remember which one it is. Obviously, one
yeah,
is better
yeah,
than the other, but it's one of those. And I have
yeah.
one customer, I looked it up one day. I have one customer that spent almost $6,000 with me on a
Oh my gosh.
$30 product. Or
So they
am I
bought.
30 bucks? No, I'm 40 bucks.
So they bought. What is that? That's hundreds of purchase,
Yeah.
100, 200
Yeah.
purchases.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. And that's where the lifetime value is, and that's where it becomes, if you get it right, then there's that multiplying effect, and it's so important to get them. And that's what, but and a little tag on that is video can have some very interesting post purchase for the subscription products. Throw in a little QR code tag in the box that goes, and then there's some sort of engage, post purchase engagement with the product can be a great way to keep them, keep the brand top of mind, give them a reason to maybe go back and re-engage online, sign up for
Buy
a
another
news,
product.
buy another upsell them to another product, give them a 20% off on
Yep.
something else you sell. Yeah, so I
Yep.
think that video can even play. We've created a lot of post purchase, even like FAQ or instructional content. If you have a product that needs some instruction to be used, having a QR code in the product that has them go and watch those videos. And if those videos are like on their YouTube or whatever, now you got in their YouTube algorithm, maybe they subscribe to you, maybe, there's so many ways of engaging them after that purchase. The purchase one is like just the beginning, right? For especially for and that depends on the product, of course, but
I'd say more so it depends on the brand because yes, you have people that sell milk and everyone needs milk over and over again, right? Or coffee creamer or whatever, or supplements. But you also have people that are building a brand. Like let's just take this one right here, right? So this ain't the only flavor of this, right? And for those of you that are audio only, I'm holding up a soda can. It's a stevia soda. And so it's creamy root beer. Well, that's not the only flavor, right? And so if I bought this on Amazon, if I would want the brand to say, hey, why don't you try our other stuff too, right? And so the first sale is only the first sale of hopefully upselling them on other products of yours. So if you have an outdoor brand, like right now, all I've got left now are my knives, right? That's my only private label remaining. And so, but I only sell one knife. So
yeah,
I'm not going to upsell them. But I do actually have customers that come back and they buy knives for their friends and say, hey, I want you to laser and script this on this knife. So I'll do
interesting.
it. But yeah, man, it's if you're building a brand and you are not utilizing video post purchase, you are missing a massive opportunity to literally advertise your brand heavily for free because they've already purchased your product. But they have to be enticed. I think the QR code is probably the best thing you could do. It should sit right on top, and there needs to be a hook, a reason to scan that QR code too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. And so I think with your products and your videos, also the last thing I would say is just test stuff, right? Like a lot of Amazon sellers do one thing and then uh they go, well, I talked to a lot of people that go, oh yeah, we tried to sponsor brands video ad once, didn't really work. So yeah, we learned that lesson. Don't do sponsor brands video. It's like, well, hang on, like can be extremely effective. And I think it all comes down to the content, and it all comes down to how the content aligns, like with what you said, which is the customer journey, the customer flow. And yeah, so I would just say that video continues to be really the secret weapon, especially if you're in a category where your competitors are maybe not doing such a great job.
Yep.
That's a great opportunity for you to come in and be that leader, be that brand leader, tell that story that's going to really set you apart from the pack too.
Agreed. All right. Well, we are beyond where I normally try to go, but it's been for a very good reason. I still have one last question. I think this is going to be super important because especially I have been saying it for years. I firmly believe that you need to be operating outside of Amazon, not only on Amazon. I've been an Amazon seller for 15 years, and Amazon, through no breakage on my side, has turned off my Amazon accounts on 2 separate occasions, killing my business for months. So, and I literally done nothing wrong, and they admitted that to me eventually, like, we don't know why this happened. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, the last question is this: how can you use videos to build a better brand on and off Amazon?
And yeah, great question. So obviously you've got for brand building, and of course, if you're at a certain size, right? Like if you're big enough to be really starting to get into DSP and even getting into like CTV, that's really great way of building top of funnel brand awareness. The other great way to build brand awareness off Amazon is this is something that a lot of people maybe forget about. But SEO and blogs paired with videos that are hosted on YouTube, creating YouTube content. So there's something we call hygiene content. I'll try to keep this quick, but this is huge.
Okay. Okay.
There's something called hygiene
Well,
content. So
actually,
yeah,
before we go into that, let me just, in case anybody doesn't know, SEO, search engine optimization.
thanks. Yeah. Search
Yeah.
engine optimization, making content that is designed to be especially discoverable on things like obviously on Amazon, but then Google, YouTube, even social media, things like that. If you have so hygiene content, and this comes from a book, I can't remember the name right now, but it was like Hub, Hero, Hygiene content, or the three main pillars, and it's a great model. What hygiene content refers to is content that you create, put it out there to be discovered by just the people that you know will make good customers for you. But the content
Makes
is
sense.
not self-promotional. You're not promoting your product. You're providing value to the kinds of customers that buy your products. And so, for example, a good example, like we are Video Fresh, right? We help Amazon sellers with their videos. Good hygiene content for us is not necessarily going to be video related. Like, here's why you should have a video. It's going to be content helping sellers do anything that sellers need to do, right? So it's going to be creating content about here's how to navigate tariffs, whatever is going on, right? Here's how, like anything that they're needing to know, providing that value or providing them with resources or things like that. So what I would recommend is if you have a product for example, if you have a product that's like a blender, for your kitchen, you could now that person that has a blender, you could obviously make content about here's like the top 5 best summer smoothies, right? You could make that
Blend
video.
this iPhone.
Blend
Will
this,
it
yeah. Can it
blend?
blend this iPhone? You could do that, and that you probably
Yeah.
should also do that content, right? But the
Sure.
real hygiene content I'm talking about is go beyond even what the blender does. Have recipes, make a recipe channel that even goes beyond the blender's involvement. I mean, it could be involved, but the purpose is you're trying to give value. And so what you can do is then if you can have a blog on your website, your D2C website that has that video also embedded in, that is a very high traffic, each one, which is like your title on that web page, matches up to keywords that are like, hey, my customers are out there typing in this keyword in Google. We're going to create a fantastic destination on this blog page that's going to get them some great value. It's brought to you by this brand, but we are not promoting ourselves, at least if you are very subtly, because if they sense they're being promoted to, they're going to
They'll
go,
bounce.
they'll bounce. They're like, I just got hoodwinked into some solicitation thing. Just value. If you do that at scale, if you're releasing a few of those, one of those a week, 2 of those a week, all the time, that you will build massive brand. You can have people go to your newsletter. You, they'll browse your website. You can also do this exact same thing on like TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. Provide value brought to you by the brand. So that's a really great strategy, and it doesn't have to be that expensive, right? Just do some keyword research. Create the content doesn't have to be pricey to make, but it has to be really valuable to your
Mhm.
customers.
Yep. I have long said that the best sales tool out there is help.
Mm, I love that.
Yep. So when I told you that we recorded the ads course at Managed by Stats, we were initially charging for it. And I said, hey, because we were I think at that time we were pushing the ads manager. I'm like, guys, why don't we give this away for free? And the number, of course, like I think it was $500 or something like that. Maybe it was 250. We gave it away for free, and we went from like 13 customers to like 750.
Love
So
that. That's great.
yeah, so that that
That's so
that did a
true.
couple of things. Number one, we just pushed value out there. So now Managed by Stats is being branded as authorities on ads management. We're using our own tool in the videos to demonstrate the techniques that we're using, and we acquired an identity in which we can promote to.
That's the move. If there's any value you can give your customers that you know is something they really care about or are wanting to know, I think that's the best way to build brand off Amazon. You have to make a commit. You have to commit
Yeah,
to
that's the thing.
to doing it, right? It's like, don't try 3 blogs and go, well, I don't see the ROI of that. Just
No,
just set it
consistency
and
is
forget
super
it.
important.
Yeah, and it's like growing a garden. So it's like you're planting seeds, and gardens take a little time to grow. So that's the one thing
Super
is
annoying.
just commit to like I know gardens are something. Just kidding. But just commit to 12 months. Hey, 12 months. I'm going to do one of these a week for 12 months with the top like keywords in my category on blogs and also on YouTube. You will definitely see increase in traffic. You'll see increase in results. At Video Fresh, we have had a lot of success doing this.
Mhm.
So an e-commerce company, but you can do the exact same thing with
But
e-commerce.
yeah, you're employing the tactics that would work for a brand as well. This is
Yes.
what you're saying isn't anything new at all. In fact, it is
Yeah,
old,
it's
solid
old.
gold information. Content is king. That is the 3-word term that everything derives from, and that will never change, I don't think. Look look at TikTok. The amount of content that is pushed on a TikTok. Oh my god. But content is king, right? Now you have different variations of content. You've got crap content, and you've got great content, and you got middle of the road content. As long as your content speaks to your audience and handles something or helps or anything like that, provides them value. It's got to be value, entertainment, knowledge, experience, whatever. People will consume it, you know. And then you need to go a step further. And this is something that I know I'm bad about because I just haven't got the time to do it. But for every one of these episodes I record, there's a long form, there's 5 short forms, there's Spotify, and I've got a website, and the video gets embedded in the website. And the transcript of this goes into AI to pull out the main tips, and then that's what the blog article is about. And at the top of that is the video, and it pushes to you on LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. And so you start getting these little data points of like, hey, all of this is relevant to this topic. And that's how you get put into Google at the top of the search results. So to finish this out, Rob just gave you guys in addition to taking the videos that are done, don't only put it on Amazon. Put it on YouTube, build a blog post about it, throw your video into your blog posts, and make it an advertisement just in middle of content, just like you see on every website. Advertise your own product on your own blog, but the blog has nothing to do with your product. You're helping somebody in some way, and that's top of funnel branding for you. So, and the way that I did that, Rob, and I never really fully went through with it because I stopped doing the brand, but my adventure YouTube channel, my first purpose was to make it just so that my kids had something to go and watch and see dad on and mom on all their adventures, and then eventually all their adventures with us and stuff like that. And it's still that purpose. But then I went, well, hell, I do all these adventures. I'm going to make this a business expense. So I converted that over to my business, sold my rover to my business. And I went, well, as I'm building an audience, I'm just going to start putting my products into the video. And so that's what I did. I started placing my products and videos. Then I built a network within my off-road community, which I've got 5 influencers in the space. We're all sponsored by different video companies like Midland and Onyx Off-Road and Zero Breeze and some other companies. And we have actually done a sponsored video for Midland and Lightforce LED lights. It's a full feature, which on YouTube is like 45-minute video, and it absolutely killed it. And that was just the spirit of the adventure. But you take these videos, you place them onto your own content, and now you're utilizing your video again for top of funnel branding. And so then you can take these and you can put them into shorts and stuff like that. Anyhow, there's so much you can do. So if you go to Video Fresh and you have them produce a video, first of all, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Rob, but when you pay for them, you're paying for a day of filming. And so when you're paying for a day of filming, you can fit in a whole bunch of other stuff. And with what they produce, you could technically produce 15 videos out of what they do and just taking little snippets and stuff like that. And so Rob's content that they produce is in the value is in far greater excess than what you actually think you're paying for, because you can use that content all over the place. So
Yeah,
that's my
that's right.
pitch for
That's
you.
right. Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, we charge for the filming day. We can do a bunch of product. We can capture footage for a bunch of products in your filming day, and then we can use those ingredients to craft a bunch of different recipes, if you will, for this ad and this listing page video and a meta ad and a DSP ad. So we kind of go full funnel with multiple products in one day. So that's kind of like our standard way that we do projects.
Love it. Cool. Rob, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I know we're way over time on this, but I think this is such a valuable subject and misunderstood by most Amazon sellers, probably by most people actually, in terms that own a brand. So
It's
thank you for being
fun.
here.
This was so much fun. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, really enjoy your insights on it too. And yeah, hopefully we can do this again.
I'd love to, man. I'll see you later.
All right, see
All
you
right.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.